Energy in the second half, or it appeared
we played hard, but you know we played hard last week. We just didn't play smart. About 6 to 10 plays, you know, we're really not very smart. We made some mistakes tonight, but they really were. They were intense. They were kind of frustrated and angry. You know, they knew they didn't play well, so they were kind of ready to play. And I thought they did a good job just fighting through it.
How soon before the game did you learn that Rodney was going to be suspended?
Well, they asked us to keep that kind of quiet. I don't know how much I should even talk about it. It was the hit that, at Kentucky, which was unintentional. It was a hit that was real high on one of the players down there at the goal line. And nobody probably noticed it because they didn't flag it. Coach Spurrier didn't even notice it when we were watching the film. I kind of saw it because I graded the kid, but you know I didn't think it was anything flagrant. And then Kentucky turned it in, and the commissioner was very fair about it and just ruled that it was up around the head area. And to my understanding, he's not the first kid that's had to sit a half or a game this year. And they don't want to make a big deal out of it unless somebody does something flagrant or intentional. You know, but that's getting to be a real important thing. I know y'all have heard all the NFL stuff, but when it goes up high around the head, they're getting very, very strict about it. And but Rodney understood. You know, everything's fine.
You think we'll see more of these? You think this is going to be?
I don't know. You know, I don't want to do too much and start, you know, passing judgment or opinion, because I think he was very fair about it. We obviously didn't feel the same way, but it was unintentional, and he didn't try to go to the head when he led with his shoulder, but anyhow, their heads hit, and kid jumped up, didn't have to leave the game, wasn't injured, whatever. But I'm not saying this as a complaint or anything. It's just something that is a big point of emphasis now in football, and you've seen there's a lot of it around, and they get very concerned about head injuries, and like they should be.
Secondary play, you know, you tried to make some wrinkles in it.
Yeah, I mean, what we try to do is play more man and not let certain formations and stuff get us checked out of it, because that's what's been happening to us. And so we tweaked it. Coach wanted us to stay with man on certain situations where we've been checking out of it. We did that. Played a little bit more coverage where the corners were hard or squatting as opposed to sinking. And against a team like Vanderbilt, you don't have that much opportunity to use it, but we did work very hard on it this week, and we use it some. We've got to continue to work very hard. We're getting ready to hit a streak now with Tennessee, Arkansas, and Florida on the road. We'll hit some teams that rely more on the pass, drop that pass. And so, you know, I think some of the things that we put some time in this week but weren't able to put a lot of time, you know, we'll have to continue to work on. Because triple option, you know, is the big deal. Or the zone option, the triple option, all the option reads this week.
What do you think changed in the second half, just as far as intensity, just tackle better maybe?
I don't know. You know, just I think one thing is our players stayed a little more consistent than we have. We didn't have as many breakdowns and assignment and those type of things. You know, I said earlier we played hard throughout the game. We played hard last week throughout the game, but you know, it's hard and it's dumb. And our kids knew that they did some things that weren't very smart, assignment-wise and technique-wise. And I hope, you know, we've got the film on. We'll see that they corrected them and improved on it. You know, we got to continue to work on those.
Catch your breath on that first play when they ran the option on the first.
I wasn't overly concerned about it. I mean, Vanderbilt popped a 50-yarder on LSU. They popped a 30-yarder on Ole Miss. Popped another 15, 25-yarder. I was kind of surprised that we didn't have a few more option runs pop out of the box. And I thought one of the things they did extremely well was contain it. But that first play was a very good play designed by them. They went tackle over and loaded the formation. We pushed over pretty good. Corner got it turned inside, but we didn't fit it very well. Oh, yeah. And he squared it through there. I thought we were in great shape. I thought it was going to be a 3-yard gain. He squared it right through there.
How easy to play defense when the offense holds the ball for over 37 minutes?
I know, and of course, when you look at that, everything's hand in hand. Last week, we can't make a first down, and we can't play third down. So what you end up is with 14 play, 11 play, 16 play drives. Tonight, whether they got the ball or not, go count the 3 and outs and 5 and outs. And all of a sudden you're sitting over there thinking you're playing pretty good. Well, what you're doing, you're reducing the number of times people can take a shot at you. So we got ourselves off the field. Then the offense come on the field and do a great job of staying on the field. And that frustrates the play caller, and you get a different ball game. And that's what team football is all about. as ugly as some of it was at certain times tonight, it's how you win a ball game as a team. Yeah, I thought one of the best moments for us tonight, as a defensive unit, and we needed to do something like this. We came out the first series on offense and had to punt, and we had a 3-and-out on defense, and we came out the second series and threw an interception on the very first play. And we came back out on defense the very next series and got them 5-and-out. So finally, we didn't give in to the situation. We turned the situation and stepped up and got the thing turned. And that was a big point, I think, where we might have hopefully crossed the threshold. Because when you have a turnover like that and then you respond and give up big plays or something like that, that's what starts to roll as a team. It starts to melt. And with that punter they got,
wow,
geez, with him, we had to have both phases working because he flipped the field position 3 times tonight. It could have been the ball game, but our offense drove it out of there, or our defense got out there and turned it over.
They were 3 of 15 on third down tonight. Obviously, that goes hand in hand with time of possession. Why were you guys having so much success on third downs tonight?
I don't know. Probably a little bit more third and longs instead of 3rd and 2s and 3s. There are a lot of things that figure into statistics, and I understand how important statistics can be, but over a stretch, they're very important. One game, sometimes I'll tell a story, but we got a lot better pressure on the quarterback, and I think we probably covered better. We'll see. I'll have to see the film and see if we're really in great position and technique. But I know our players really felt like they had to address some of the things because they knew they left one on the table last week.
Both game press conference, Coach Story is still lamenting the fact, guys, they got a turnover tonight.
That's it,
How much
man.
they get about not getting turnovers?
Yeah, when you play this well, I don't know. I don't know what's causing it. Now, we didn't have a lot of them that we got our hands on that were easily catchable, but we had at least 4 or 5 that we got our hands on. Also, there was a ball fumbled down here in the red zone that I think 2 or 3 of our guys touched that ball. Travian fell on it and squirted out, and 2 other kids, I think, touched it before they got it back. It's I don't know. That's a hard one to answer right now. I can't tell you one thing that's causing it because we play physical and we're playing hard and we got the quarterback. Maybe he didn't throw some balls that we wish he would have thrown and thrown into coverage. He chose to eat them and run with them. I don't know, but it is a concern. We got to start causing some turnovers.
When did Melvin hurt his hand? And
very first series.
He was able to come back.
I don't know if y'all remember. Excuse me. It was the scramble where their quarterback had him on 3rd and long. He scrambled around and got a first down. He broke his hand on that play. He thinks he hit it on a guy, and then as he went to grab the quarterback, he said his hand wouldn't close. So that's the 4th one Brad's got this year. 4th broken bone in a hand. It's unbelievable.
What's Chaz Sutton's status? Is he going to be able to possibly play next week? Or?
I think so. He didn't have a good week of practice with that pin being inserted. It kind of, he couldn't use it. Hopefully that'll make it heal better and faster when we get him back.
Talk about that night that Travian had. I think he had 7 tackles by halftime.
Yeah, Coach always asks about game balls, and this is kind of a game where I couldn't give him a name. I mean, I knew we'd played a tough, grinding ball game that ends up coming out pretty good because you keep people off the board, but I couldn't find anybody that just jumped out. But Travian was making a lot of plays that obviously didn't jump out until you look at the stat sheet. And he played good, and that's part of the reason I think it was a successful run. Vanderbilt has run the football on some good football teams this year, and I was really pleased. I think they did have a starter out at center, but I was really pleased that we didn't allow them to get a consistent running game going. They ran it on us some, but not consistent. And I think Travian and some of them played well. Josh had a pretty good game, I think Travian obviously played very well.
Thank you, Coach.
All right.